Hey, greetings, fans, friends, and family. Welcome back to another episode of the Live Painting Channel. My name is Warren Stokes, your host. We are working on a painting we started last Sunday. For those of you who just joined the program, we broadcast every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I also post videos of all these live painting channel episodes on YouTube. And you can also find them on Facebook. Very easy to find. Just search for Live Painting Channel in either place. The broadcast medium that I use is Twitch. And I'm working on getting enough followers to post videos there. So if you like what you see or you're having fun, feel free to follow me on Twitch as well. So this is a painting by Sisely, or inspired by a painting by Sisely, and I did a pencil sketch of it quite a number of years ago to show the audience a little bit of the inspiration for today's painting. Sketch of a painting. So I'm doing a painting of a sketch of a painting today. Ought to be fun. I'm going to just jump right into it today. Let's continue kind of where we left off. I'm still working on the architecture and some of the building structures. So I think what we're going to do now is work on a little bit of the top part of the buildings here. Let me just get the best brush for that. Which will be a pretty small brush, actually a medium chisel and a small detail brush. And the palette that I've been using on this particular painting, a lot of earth tones, which is inspired by the original painting itself. I've got some raw sienna, burnt umber, Payne's gray, a little bit of red. And the sky, I kind of reworked the sky actually. I started with a phthalo blue last week and it was just a little too blue. And I'm really liking what we got going on here. The sky is a little more muted. I'm using ultramarine, gray and white for that. I'm going to start working right up here on the top of the, this is a mill building. I think they milled flour there perhaps back in the 1800s. And I'm going to get kind of my orientation here, and then we're going to start painting that structure right away. Start by just blocking out a little bit of that in white. Here goes nothing. All right. Kind of like the way in this painting there's a steeple behind this building that kind of reflects the same angles as the mill building. So I'm going to just go ahead and continue that little theme there. Paint ourselves a little triangle in there. Just using white at the moment. This painting has a lot of white in it, by the way. A lot of white. I have to go buy some more titanium white pretty soon. There we go. Nice little pointy steeple right there. Sweet. There we have it. Another little element. Yeah, there you can see it pretty good. With my dual cam setup, I can simultaneously broadcast the detail as well as the, what it looks like from a distance. Took a little bit of figuring out. Fortunately, I have my son Jason, who is quite the technology guy. He helped me get on Twitch, the platform for broadcasting, and helped me set up the dual cam studio. I'm going to work on a green screen version of this soon. If you don't know what a green screen is, it's a way to basically put a background in a video that is from another image or another scene. So maybe we'll Maybe we'll do one of these broadcasts with the green screen, and in the background, instead of the black, there might be, who knows, maybe the French Riviera, Paris, somewhere around there, who knows. Okay. Now I'm going to add a touch of the light brown color to that. Actually kind of have 3 little palettes going today, instead of one big one. My big one got broken. Okay. I'm just going to add just the faintest touch of brown to that white. But, watch this. We are going to drop in a deep brown dark shadow. And it does have one, right? Right there. I'm gonna, while I've got that detail brush and working on those little dark lines, I'm gonna add a little bit of structure to some of these areas that I haven't quite finished. So for example, this eave right here, we're just gonna do a swipe with the dark brush and create ourselves the little shadow of an eave here. Freehand today, look at that, not too bad. All right, that is carried into this area. There's a shadow and a thinner line on the other side of the steeple, or the eave I should call it. Changed my lighting around a little, and I'd appreciate any of you in the audience commenting on that. I am now completely with studio lighting. I blocked off my skylight, my windows, and all black curtains, the blackout curtains. Just see how that works. I've had some reports that some of the paintings in the video looked a little bit washed out. So experimenting with some new lighting. Easy does it there. Oh, starting to get some definition. Very nice. All right, we also have a shadow that's going to go right across here. It jumps up a little. So what happens here is the building has a kind of 3 levels to it. Let me point to that. This is the most frontmost part. This is another section of the building that's set back, who knows, a couple, 3 meters. That one is set back even farther, and the roof line kind of follows it. So we're gonna emulate that by putting in those shadows kind of in a stepped fashion. Cool. Where else do I have shadows I got to put in while I'm working with this color? Oh, I see one. I need to get myself a diagonal shadow right in here on the bottom lower left corner of the mill. I'm going to just do it in this brown for now. And I think I'm going to come back to all my shadows with a little blue. Dark blue sometimes works good in a shadow. At least I think so. Here we go. It's fun working on the detail after you've laid it all out. You know, I think I'm going to just have to tackle the windows here. Before I do, I think I'll do a little chimney right up in here. If you've been following my channel, you know I do a lot of landscapes. Haven't done much with architecture, so I'm having a good time. A little change of pace, a little challenge here and there. Also, they had a lot of chimneys, you know, because they didn't have HVAC back then. They had little chimneys indicating wherever there's a fireplace. And might as well think about while I'm doing chimneys. Do one over here. You know, in some of my episodes, I get downright chatty, start telling stories, all kinds of stuff. But today I'm just focusing in, maybe a little more contemplative. So it'll be kind of a quiet episode, not a lot of stories. Just some pure painting. And speaking of which, let's just go ahead and put our little windows in here. Got one living right there. Sure, why not? Hey, thanks, Kate. Thanks for the comments. Glad you could drop by the channel today. If this is your first time viewing it, this is the live painting channel. My name is Warren. Maybe you figured that out. We broadcast every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And we post these videos on YouTube and Facebook. Just search for the live painting channel. Right now I'm working on a painting that I started last Sunday. And this is inspired by a painting by Sisely called the Bridge at Moret. And I'm referring to my little sketch that I did quite some time ago. I kind of fell in love with this painting. Here, let me do a close-up of that. So this is the pencil sketch that I did. What year? 2006. Wow, that was a long time ago. And I'll often do pencil sketches of something before I paint, or sometimes it's just a standalone piece. But this is a fun one, and I like the architecture. It's been a little challenging for me, but I'm digging it, man. Check it out. I have been painting since I was about 16 years old. Studied art in high school, a little bit in college. I actually painted for a living a couple of times in my life, by the way. Right now, it's, there's an old, well, I don't know if it's an old saying, but I'll make it a saying. I don't necessarily live to work. I don't necessarily live to work. But I can say that I work to live. How about that? Hey, I think I just made that up. Maybe I borrowed it from some smart person. I don't know. Okay, some more windows. These are fun. They're just dabs of paint. It's more of a impression of a window, or an indication. I mean, what am I going to do? This painting is only about 12 7/8 by 20 inches, so not like I'm going to put some interior scene in there, people eating dinner or something. Well, I don't know, I guess I could. But now I have to think about this a little bit. Because the edge of this part of the building matches up with that one, and the windows would be symmetrically located in this case. I'm just talking to myself a little bit, where to put stuff. It's all spontaneous. Figure it out as I go, usually. I'll say that's the line of that part of the building. And I want one right below that center one. Just because I choose where things go in my paintings. And of course, you can choose where things go in your painting. And we are working on detail today, mostly. Although it's going to be fun painting the water. I must say, this whole section down here is water. Hey, and there's a bridge. Maybe I'll be able to say later, well, that was just water under the bridge. Ha! Can't wait to be able to say that. I know, I've heard before that comedy is not my calling. I will tell people something dead serious and they'll bust out laughing, and then I'll tell a joke and they're like all serious, and it's like, wow, good thing I didn't choose comedy as a way to make a living on. Anyway, let's keep going on this. This is working out masterfully. There's my little windows. Now, if I start calling these happy little windows, please stop me, okay? That's not my gig, although, of course, I've been very inspired by artists like Bob Ross. Yeah, so again, I think I mentioned the inspiration for this painting is a painting by Sisely, of which I did a pencil sketch some years ago, and I dug it out of a Foot Locker. Ooh. And I just said, I love doing that one so much, I'm going to do a painting of it. I do sell my artwork from time to time. It's not my primary form of income. I do commissions. Just did a commission on a Christmas present for a nice young lady who wanted to get something unique for her husband, and she ordered a commissioned piece of artwork from me. It was basically a pretty cool piece, if I do say so myself. It turned out all right. Of a fisherman on a lake catching a fish, and it was almost like jumping out of the picture. You can see it. I think I posted that on Facebook too. But I do golf course holes and favorite places. And you know that, by the way, this isn't really a commercial channel, so to speak. I really do the live painting channel just stay creative. Actually, force myself to get inspired once a week like this. And I've produced over 40 paintings this year. I'm doing them at a pace of about, well, we hold the show once a week, but these usually take 1.5 to 2 sessions to finish. But yeah, I'll take on commissions, and I probably got 15 or 20 paintings that I haven't sold or given away. Sometimes I'll make them prizes for a trivia question or something on the show. And you can watch the videos, and if there's one that you really like, let me know. I'll work something out. Like I said, they're going to be very reasonably priced. In fact, I'll just tell you, the price ranges for my paintings of this type are, generally speaking, about $100 to $200. Average about $150. Not a bad deal for a original work of art. Okay, here we go. Woohoo! So this particular picture, and thanks again for the questions from the audience today, but this particular painting I spent about 45 minutes on last week, and we just started it. I'm hoping to finish it up in this session. These sessions are usually about an hour, a little more, a little less. You know, I create my own schedule. What the heck? And if you're an aspiring artist and you ever want to collaborate, hey, we'll get you on my show. It's getting quite a number of more viewers. My channel itself has about 3,000 subscribers and about close to 1 million views in total, but spread out over a lot of different videos. That's my YouTube channel, by the way. I also make money on YouTube. I'm a YouTube channel partner. I'm a content creator for YouTube. Make some money. It's not huge, but growing, and helps buy the paint. I'll share a little bit about the technology that I use for the program. I broadcast on the Twitch platform, very well known for gamers. But there's art, definitely a lot of artists on it, I think an increasing number. I started about a year ago. My son, who's a video game designer, Jason, he's developing some really cool games. His company's called Space Bucket, and he's developing a game, getting close, called Van Dozer. Super cool, super fun game. Got to check it out. But anyway, he turned me on to Twitch, and the technology is really good for video broadcasting, creating scenes, and doing like I'm doing here with the dual cam studio and all that. Twitch, it's called. Kind of a funny name, but I'll buy it. I'll live with it. Make that window just a touch wider. All right. Got myself. I'm going to put a little window right here. This, if you're standing in that room, you can look out over the bridge at Moret. And this is a mill. I think probably milled flour or something in it. Back in the 1800s, mind you. And I am particularly fond of Impressionists, French and Dutch Impressionists for the most part. Monet and Sisely, two of my favorites. Last week this painting got started really fast. I just laid it out. Boom. Yeah, if anyone wants to contact me, I'll just share right now. I'm very accessible, I'm very reachable. Happy to collaborate or help or maybe even sell you a painting. You can email me, warren.stokes@gmail.com. It's my name, Warren Stokes. And you can also just Facebook, go on Facebook and search for Live Painting Channel. You can message me there. You can also message me on one from any of my YouTube videos. I've got many videos on there. I also do business videos. I train people on how to use like Microsoft Outlook and Excel and things like that. Work on this. It's kind of a little, kind of a balcony structure here, sort of jutting out into this area. I was mentioning these verticals are the demarcation of the building structures that kind of jut out at different angles and depths. Pretty fun. I do a lot of just very fluid painting. I enjoy just laying the paint on the canvas. Sometimes it sort of gets a life of its own going on, which is kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me, and if you want to buy a painting, we can show you all the paintings that I have available, and or we can just do a little commission. Remarkably reasonable price. Like I said earlier, average about $150 per painting, sometimes a little more, a little less. It actually depends a lot on the size, physical size of the painting. I use a very special size I've developed. By the way, in case you're interested, I'll share it with you. So the proportions of a painting are very important. You know, you can buy off-the-shelf canvases, of course, 9 by 12, you know, 11 by 14, and all these other sizes, but they're really kind of lame, frankly, if you don't mind me saying so, canvas makers. And I think they were developed primarily for Head and Shoulders portraits. It's about the only thing they're good for. So I use what's called the golden mean, the golden ratio. It's an ancient concept, and I'll just explain it to you here. And it has to do with the whole composition of the painting, by the way. So if you were to create a rectangle such the ratio of the sides were as follows, you will have the golden mean. That the smaller section is to the larger as the larger is to the whole. I've done classes on this. You can study that if you want. It's called the golden mean ratio. Great book. Oh, I ran across this in 1978. Long story, and I told people on the channel today I wasn't going to get into a whole lot of storytelling, but anyway, long story short, on that one, I found a book written in the 20s or 40s by J. Hambidge, and it was called The Elements of Dynamic Symmetry. Check it out. You'll find a lot of interesting stuff if you're an artist. The Elements of Dynamic Symmetry by J. Hambidge. That's the book that got me going on this whole dynamic symmetrical stuff. It's almost an oxymoron because symmetry is when you have things that are just balanced, left, right, top, bottom, that's symmetry. Dynamic symmetry is another thing. It has to do with the diagonals, the intersections, the planes, all kinds of cool stuff. It's kind of mind-blowing once you get into it, but I better get going on this painting here. And I can't wait to get to the water. So we're going to work a little more on now this other building has a kind of a steeple and a image behind it, a little castle parapet kind of thing. It's going to be fun. And I'm just going to blast into that right now. I'm just going to do it. So it's going to be like the other one a little bit. It's going to have a lighter shade of kind of on the left-hand side. And remember, in painting, there's a few basics, and I like to share with the audience because some people are kind of beginning or they like to learn stuff. And one of the here's how I put it is first, in any piece of art, you start with, what do you think? Paints? No. First thing you start with is something that inspires you. So once you get some form of inspiration, then you want to create a composition. And that is where you lay out the elements of the painting. It can be random, it can be creatively free flow, or you can think it out analytically like I do a lot. Inspiration, composition, and then think about light and dark. Kind of squint your eyes at your painting every once in a while. And just look at, that's one of the reasons I like to step back and look at it from time to time. So we got inspiration, composition, light and dark, and then a painting has depth. So what one wants to do is start with the very back part of it. So for example, that's why I'll usually, if it's something that involves a landscape or architectural study like this, I'll put the sky in first. Next, that row of stuff. The farther up you go, the closer to the viewer you are. So, inspiration, composition, light and dark, back to front. And then, color, right? That's what people jump into and think about immediately when they think about a painting. What color am I going to use? It's actually like not even the second or third thing I usually think about. I think about it a little later in the process. But in this case, I've chosen a lot of earth tones. Here, I'll scan on a few of my other paintings. Over here, for example. All kinds of cool stuff. A lot of blues and greens. I'm digressing for the sake of somebody to ask a question about some of my art. Here's some paintings. These two are studies of the bridge at Argenteuil. Really nice, peaceful scenes there. Up here, desert scene. Over here, a golf hole. PGA West Stadium course. Here, picture of my little sailboat. Anyway, you can see all these if you go down on my YouTube channel. And sorry for jiggering the camera around during a show like this, but hey, it's live, man. I do what I want. So anyway. let's keep going. Got a painting to finish here. The funny thing is, sometimes, I don't know if I could ever really say a painting is finished completely until I haven't painted on it for a year. I'll come back to paintings and I'll just go, man, where was my brain on that one? I'll try to redo it. I also have a lot of them that are just very spontaneous. Boom, boom, boom. I think I like the ones best that are more spontaneous, actually. Anyway, where am I here? I am right here in the moment. I'm going to add, oh yeah, I was going to work on that little parapet over there, but first, I'm going to add that roof line here. Close up cam, a little bit of zoom on that. I guess I could have an assistant that did all this for me, huh? Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, no assistant today, just me. I'm working on this upper left corner. And you know what? We got some nice little windows here too, and we're going to put in right in that building. Just little rectangles. Happy little windows. Okay, got to stop doing that. Oh, and by the way, forgot to mention this painting is going to have a horse and a cart in it. In fact, it brings up an interesting bit of history. I just thought I'd share with the audience just because I thought of it. So human beings have been on the planet as Homo sapiens, scientifically speaking, for about 300,000 years. For the vast majority of that time, let's say the width of this painting was 300,000 years. The form of transportation, the most advanced form of transportation during that entire time was horse and cart, which we're going to put one in here. Now, if you think about it, it wasn't until right around the late 1700s, early 1800s when the Industrial Revolution started to bubble up. And that's when they invented technology, really. You know, steam engines and motor cars and all that sort of stuff. But that was only 200 or 300 years ago. Let's say it was 300. That's 1/1000th of the time that humans have been in the form we are, Homo sapiens. So it's where we live in an amazing time. Technology is just going at a crazy pace, as I think you all know. All right, time to do that little parapet. even know if I'm using the right term, but I'm going to call it that. Kind of like a little castle thing up here, steeple sort of a thing. Okay, let's just do it. I'm going to put it right here. Y'all ready? Ready for this? getting somewhere here. fun painting today. It is looking like it'll take more than this session to finish it, but I am having a good time. That's the main idea. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to have to wrap up today's session. Been a lot of fun. We'll just have to finish this at another session here, won't we? Yes, we will. So again, thanks for joining the Live Painting Channel. My name is Warren Stokes. I'm your host. Broadcasting live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. See you next time.